आदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सकगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सकगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादि गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। हरे कृष्ण। By Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished 5 slokas in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Dhyana Yoga. So now only in the 5th sloka, Krishna started talking about the mind in the Dhyana Yoga. So in the first 3 slokas, Krishna was teaching us, first 4 slokas, Krishna was teaching us about the yoga. So the yoga and mind, they are both very important. Normally in this world, yoga means, in general, when people go and do yoga classes, there are many places, even in Western countries, even everywhere, there are a lot of classes offered, yoga classes. They charge very heavily. They charge a very heavy fee and they teach yoga. And yoga means, in general, the understanding is that it is just doing some postures like exercises for the body to maintain our body. But yoga means, Krishna is saying that asamyatat mano yoga dusprapa itime mati. I quoted this sloka a couple of days ago. Krishna says in the 6th chapter, Krishna is teaching us, we are going to study also, that asamyatat mano yoga dusprapa itime mati. Mano yoga. So mano yoga, see, both are mind and yoga. These both are very interlinked. These both are very important. That means Krishna is teaching us that, Krishna is saying very clearly, without controlling, asamya. Asamya means not controlling. Samya means controlling. Mana samyamya matchitto. So Krishna is also going to say in 6th chapter, one sloka, that mana samyamya matchitto. You control your mind by thinking about me. Mana samyamya. Samyamya means controlling. Asamya. Asamya means not controlling. So asamyatat mano. Asamyatat mano, here mana samyamya. Mana samyamya means you control your mind by thinking about me. In another sloka, Krishna is saying that asamyatat mano yogo. So without controlling the mind, yogo dusprapa itime mati. Yoga is not possible. You cannot achieve the status of yoga. We are studying in the last few days that Krishna is teaching us about yoga rudasya, aruruksher muner yogam. So all these things we are studying about the yoga. So that yoga is not possible if we don't control the mind. So the real meaning of yoga in Bhagavad Gita, we are studying many times I have quoted, we are studying that the real meaning of yoga is not getting disturbed by anything, not getting disturbed by the results. Being equal in all circumstances, at all times, being equal, not getting disturbed at all. So that's what is called yoga. So Krishna is teaching us that, Krishna is saying very clearly, without controlling the mind, you cannot be like that. We cannot be equal in all circumstances. It's not possible without controlling the mind. We need to control the mind. Then only it is possible for us to achieve that equanimity. That is what is known as yoga. So that's why in the 6th chapter, Krishna is teaching us complete instructions about how to control the mind. If we study, understand this fully and follow it completely, then for sure we will be able to control our mind. Even though Arjuna is asking Krishna that, Arjuna is saying that it's very difficult to control the mind. I can even control the wind. It's very difficult to control the mind. Even though Krishna is also agreeing that, but Krishna told very clearly that without controlling the mind, we cannot achieve yoga. Yoga is not possible. We need to control the mind. So in order to control the mind, we need to control our senses. So then only we can control the mind. If then the senses we should control using the mind. Using the mind only we can control our senses. So that way, this all are very, very tightly interlinked. That means if we let the senses go away, go on its own, then we cannot control the mind. So we need to control the senses. So how we can control the senses? We can control the senses by studying Bhagavad Gita. Jnanam labdva, Shraddhavan labate jnanam, tatparaga samyatendriyaga. Samya. Again, there also Krishna is using the word samya. Samyate indriyaga. Indriyaga means the senses. Here in the 6th chapter, we studied about samya, mana samyamya, asamyatat mano yogo. So here in the 4th chapter, we studied that Krishna is teaching us that tatparaga samyate indriyaga. So tatparaga samyate indriyaga. So samyate indriya means controlling the senses. One should control the senses. Samyate indriya. So that is possible only Shraddhavan labate jnanam. If we have the faith on this Bhagavad Gita and if we get this knowledge, then only we will be able to control the senses. So that way, this controlling the senses, one is with the knowledge and another is with the mind. Because Krishna also is teaching us in the 3rd chapter, Yastvindriyani manasa niyamyarabate arjuna karmendriyegi. So with the mind, we should control the karmendriyas. Karmendriyas means the working senses. The knowledge acquiring senses is going to go after. When we go outside, when the eyes are seeing something, some sense objects, the eyes are seeing. We cannot go and close the eyes. It's very difficult. Everywhere there are sense objects. We cannot close the eyes. If we close the eyes, then we cannot go out. We cannot do anything. Similarly, we cannot shut our ears. We need to hear. But there are so many different sense objects for hearing. So that also is going to come and fall in our ears. Similarly, the nose. So these knowledge acquiring senses, they are sometimes they not fully under our control, but the mind should not go after those sense objects. That is the main thing. Because what happens when the knowledge acquiring senses, when they seize the sense objects, for example, the eyes are seeing the sense object, then in order to enjoy that sense objects, enjoy those sense objects, we need to use our hands and legs, we need to use our working senses, karmendriya. So for that, the mind should allow that. So the mind should permit it. So mind should allow the karmendriyas to go and start grabbing the sense objects and enjoying it and all such things. Start taking the sense objects. So that's why Krishna is saying that with the mind, if mind is with Krishna, so then with the mind we will be able to control our working senses. The hands and legs and everything we will be able to control. Because there is no desire in the mind to enjoy the sense objects. That is the main thing. There is no desire. Because our desire is only to please Krishna. Only to enjoy with Krishna. Not separately. So when that desire is not developed in our mind, when we are interacting with the sense objects in this material world, when we go out, when we see the sense objects, when we hear the sense object, if our mind is not focused on that sense objects, then we are safe. It will be very good. Then it is possible for us to control our senses. It is possible for us to control our working senses, karmendriyas. That's why Krishna is teaching us that Yastvindriyani manasa niyamyarabhate arjuna karmendriyehi karma yogam asaktaha savisisyate. So we should perform karma yogam. We should act. We should do our duty using our karmendriyas, using our working senses. That means primarily using our legs and hands. These are the main karmendriyas. Out of the 5 karmendriyas, these legs and hands are very important to execute, to do the action. So Karmendriya karma yogam asaktaka. Asaktaka means without any attachment. So asakta. Tattva. Karma pala sangam. Asaktaka. So tasmat asaktaka satatam karyam karma karotyara. If we perform all our duties, all our activities without any attachment to the sense objects, without any attachment to the results, tasmat asaktaka satatam, always karyam karma karotyara. So if we are able to perform our duties, perform our activities every day without any attachment, always if we are able to do asaktohi acharan karma. So if we perform all our duties without any attachment, asaktohi acharan karma paramapnoti purushaka. We will attain the supreme personality of Godhead. Paramapnoti purusha. Asaktohi acharan karma paramapnoti purusha. So that is the way to achieve the supreme personality of God. To study Bhagavad Gita, understand all the knowledge given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, understand them very clearly, and then follow Krishna's instructions completely in our life, every day, every moment, in each and every activity. So if we act with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, if we surrender everything unto Krishna, so then with that knowledge, we'll be able to control our senses, we'll be able to control our mind. So then we'll be able to perform our activities without any attachment to the results. So by doing so, then we will get liberated. We will get out of this material realm and we'll go to Krishna. Asaktogi acharan karma paramapnoti purusha. So we'll get to the supreme personality of God, Parama Purusha. Paramapnoti Purusha. So that's what Krishna is teaching us. So in the 6th chapter, we studied in the sloka yesterday, Krishna taught us, in the 5th sloka, Krishna taught us that Uddaredatmanatmanam natmanam avasadaye atmaivagi atmano bandhu atmaiva ripuratmanah. Uddaret atmanam. One should elevate with the help of the mind, not downgrade, not degrade. We should not put ourselves into trouble. Uddaret atmanatmanam, natmanam avasadaya. Because atmaivagi atmano bandhugu atmaiva ripuratmana. For the mind, for the soul, atma is the friend as well as enemy, bandhu and enemy. Atmaiva ripuratmana. So in the next sloka, in the sloka number 6, chapter 6th sloka, it's a very famous sloka, very important sloka. Krishna is teaching us this is what I call it as the law of mind. The law of mind. Like we know the law of conservation of soul we studied earlier. Krishna said that. So the law of conservation of the soul, for the body, there is neither birth nor death at any point of time, but it can transmigrate from one body into another. So similarly, what is the law of mind? The law of mind is in the 6th chapter, 6th sloka. Krishna is teaching us very clearly that Bandhuratmat atmanastasya yenatmaiva atmanajitaha anatmanastu satrutve Vartetatmaiva satruvathu. Bandhur Atma. Bandhur Atma means mind is friend. When? To whom? Atmanastasya. To the soul. Atmana. So Bandhur Atma, Atmanastasya. Mind is a friend to the soul. When? Enatmaiva Atmana Jitaka. So one who has control, who has conquered. Atmana Jitaka. Atmana Jitaka means controlled by the soul. So Enatmana. So the mind. So Enatmaiva Atmana Jitaka. When the mind is controlled by the soul, so then mind is the best friend. So that's why Bandhuratma Atmanastasya Enatmaiva Atmana Jitaka. So for the person who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. So Anatmanastu means if we have not conquered the mind, if we have not controlled our mind, Anatmanastu, then it will be enemy. Satrutve. Vartetatmaiva satruvatu. and it will remain. It will remain as our enemy. It is the worst enemy. So for a person who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, the mind will be the worst of enemies. That's the main thing. So this is the law of mind. If we control our mind will be our best friend. If we didn't control our mind will be our worst enemy. So we don't have to think that he is my enemy, this person is my enemy outside. We don't have to look for enemies outside. We don't have to also look for friends outside. We need to make our mind as our best friend. We should make sure that our mind should not be our worst enemy. So that is possible only by controlling the mind. Krishna has very clearly taught us in this sloka that our mind can be our best friend when we control it. But if we don't control it, our mind will remain the worst enemy. So that's why this controlling of mind is very, 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 very important. We have to control the mind. There is no other way. And it is also very, very, very easy. It's not very difficult for the devotees of Krishna who study Bhagavad Gita, who serve Krishna, who develop love towards Krishna. That is the main thing. But for others, it will be very difficult. It is impossible. Not only very difficult, it will be impossible. We cannot control the mind without loving Krishna, without focusing our mind on Krishna. It's simply not possible to control our mind. Our mind can be controlled, our mind can be peaceful only when we focus our mind fully on Krishna, when we fix our mind on Krishna. That's why Krishna is saying that Mayeva Manadatsva Mayi Buddhim Nivesega. Fix your mind upon me, fix your intelligence upon me. Ananya Chetaga Satatam Yomam Smarati Nityasaga Tasyagam Sulabhakapata Nitya Yuktasya Yoginagam. So without any deviation, if you are always think of me, then I will be very easy to obtain. Tasya aham sulabhakapata. Very quickly, very easily we can reach Krishna. We can attain Krishna. Just by focusing on Krishna, just by thinking about Krishna, remembering Krishna, focusing fully on Krishna with our mind. Our mind should be completely devoted to Krishna all the time. Each and every moment, always our mind should be only remembering Krishna. So then it is possible. Then we don't have to struggle in this material world at all. We will not come back to this material. We are not related to anyone in this material world bodily. As a soul only, we are permanently related to everyone in this world. As a body, there are so many bodies we have taken in the past. It's innumerable, unlimited. We have taken so many bodies. In each body, we have bodily relations. Parents, brothers, sisters, mother, husband, wife, whatever relationship we call. Every relationship we had in our previous lives. And this life also we are having. And we should not think that whatever the relations, what we have right now, this is permanent. These are all bodily relations. But these are all temporary. We need to understand that very clearly. So we need to only look at the soul. We should not be looking at the body. Only look at the soul. So we should only think in the soul platform. Our consciousness should be Krishna conscious. That means we should be able to see Krishna. Krishna is saying that in the 13th chapter also. In the 6th chapter also, Krishna will say that Yomam pasyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pasyati tasyaham napranashyami sachame napranashyati. That's what Krishna is teaching. So one who sees me in everything, one who sees everything in me, for him, I am not lost. For me, he is not lost. Then also Krishna is teaching that in the 13th chapter also, Krishna is teaching in the 29th shloka. Samam pasyanni sarvatra samavastitam yiswaram nahinasti atmanatmanam tatoyati param gatim samam pasyanni sarvatra samavastitam yiswaram. So samavastitam Iswara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is seated in everyone's heart. So once we are able to see everyone equally, because Krishna is there, because Krishna is there in everyone's body. So that's why samam pasyanni sarvatra samavastitam Iswaram, then nahinasti atmanatmanam. Then we will not destroy ourselves with the mind. Then our mind is not going to bother us. We are not going to downgrade. We are not going to suffer with the mind, because we will be reaching Tatoyati Param Gatim. We will reach the supreme destination, Krishna's well. So that's why we should be able to see each and everyone as the soul.
and Paramatma, soul and super soul, Jivatma and Paramatma. So that is the knowledge we need to understand. We are getting from Bhagavad Gita. So that means in our day-to-day life, in each and every activity, we should be able to see everywhere only the souls are going, only the souls. We should not be looking at the body. We should not be looking at what color, what height, what weight, what nothing. Body is temporary. Body will keep changing. Body will lose the body. We'll get another body. Body is nothing. Body is just biomolecules. It's just made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, then other elements. That's it. These are the main thing. Carbohydrates. So we are not that body. We are not a carbon or hydrogen. We are not there. So we are not an atom. The soul is not a matter. So this knowledge we get only from Bhagavad Gita. Only by repeatedly studying Bhagavad Gita. By understanding Bhagavad Gita fully and following Bhagavad Gita completely, we will be able to transcend the modes of material nature and will be able to go to Krishna's world. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, today we finish the 6th sloka in the 6th chapter, very important sloka. I'll stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Nandini, you could understand everything clearly. Nandini, you could hear everything clearly.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So you have any questions, Nandini?
No, sir, I don't have any questions.
Hare Krishna. Everything you understood, correct?
Yes, sir, I understood, sir. Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.